Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahushai. Call La Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shamalak Yahushai, Bashem Kakdash. Double honor, set apostles and elsewhere, millstone, peace, citation, hopefully, Shalom. And I made title this video, Esau Overturns Roe versus Wade. So pretty much like, we all know that, when we was looking at these news articles and we saw, these news headlines about the Roe versus Wade situation, that pretty much like the constitutional right to abortion has been pretty much like overturned. So these women don't really have a legal right to abort their children. Well, that's in about like half of the states, because there's certain states where abortion is still legal. So it could pretty much mean that since it's become a federal thing, eventually all the other states is gonna have to follow along with it, and somewhere down the line. And I know that's gonna put a lot of misery upon these women, because Esau has influenced the minds of these women to be harlots and not to be good house mothers and housewives. So these women don't have a clue on how to raise a child the right way. And not only that they don't have a clue on how to raise a child the right way, they're just not wifey material, nor are they nurturing. So that's why this has been causing so much uproars, and for a lot of men to a lot of women to basically go out and protest. I'm even seeing that there's certain men out there that's having vasectomies. So, and that's pretty much insane. But it says, what does the end of Roe mean? Key questions and answers. Abortion will remain legal in half of states, but the rest will probably ban it. The number of abortions will probably fall, particularly among poor women in the South and Midwest. And you best believe most people that represent, the poor is, Jake, for the most part. And it says anti-abortion protesters and a clinic staffer, including patients outside a women's health center in Jackson, Miss, last November. I think that Miss stands for Mississippi. I'm not really too sure. But it says Friday's Supreme Court decision overturning Roe versus Wade will usher in a United States not seen in half a century, in which the legal status of abortion is entirely up to the states. Now that the law has changed, reproductive rights will be rewritten almost immediately. Will abortion become illegal everywhere in the U.S.? No. Individual states will decide whether and when abortions will be legal. Many states will continue to allow them, and some have even begun making provisions to help serve women who live in states that are likely to restrict abortion. Where will abortion access most likely change? Abortion will probably become illegal in about half of states, although forecasts differ. This is a little image right there, and it's saying tracking the states where abortion is now banned. New York Times is tracking the status of abortion laws in each state following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. According to the Center for Reproductive Rights, a group that fights abortion restrictions in court and closely tracks state laws, 25 states are likely to ban abortion. Those states are Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. The Guttmacher Institute, a research group focused on reproductive health care, says a slightly different group of states is likely to substantially limit abortion access. Its list of 26 states excludes North Carolina and Pennsylvania, but includes Florida, Iowa, and Montana. 13 states have so-called triggered laws which make abortion illegal after Roe's fall. Some have old abortion laws on the books that were invalidated by the Roe decision but could be enforced again. Still, other states like Oklahoma have abortion bans that were passed during this legislative session despite the Roe precedent. And it mentions how will the number of U.S. abortions change. Some women seeking abortions could obtain them in other ways, including traveling to a state where abortion is legal or ordering pills online from outside the country. Texas provides an example. In September, a law went into effect banning abortion after fetal cardiac activity is detected. Around 6 weeks, abortion at Texas clinics fell by half, but many women were able to obtain abortions in neighboring states or by ordering pills, resulting in an overall decline of only around 10%. Wow. Without Roe, abortion will probably decline more because women will have to travel farther to reach a state where it's legal. Many women who get abortions are poor, and long travel distances can be insurmountable. The states likely to ban abortion are concentrated in the South, Midwest, and Great Plains because of the expected increase in interstate travel. Remaining clinics will most likely have less capacity to treat women who are able to reach them. Research from December on estimated changes in distances clinics found that if Roe were overturned, the number of legal abortions would be likely to fall by around 40%, updated to 30% in more recent research. So, pretty much like they claim who has the abortion. They say on the Roe, around 1 in 4 American women would have been affected to obtain an abortion at some point, according to research from the Guttmacher Institute that includes women from all backgrounds. But statistics show women who receive abortions in the United States are more likely to be unmarried, to be in their 20s, to have low incomes, and to already have a child. They're disproportionately likely to be black. They are more likely to live in a Democratic-leaning state. That's Jake. That's talking about you, Eves. So-called black woman. Right there. So right from right there, I'm just gonna pretty much bring out some scriptures, and Lord willing, make this lesson edifying to the elect. And it says Isaiah 32 verse 9, rise up ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. That's all women right there. And especially for the most part, you Israelite women, since y'all think that, y'all in comfort, y'all think this is y'all rest, y'all gotta rise up. The Most High is causing this devil Esau to pretty much turn on y'all. He's been using y'all so much to turn against the Israelite man, to put hell upon the Israelite man. That could very well just be because we already know that the Lord is turning up with his judgment, and not only that, he's causing, as this is the year of turn up, pretty much like, that Apostle Tahar mentioned that this is the year of turn up. A lot of you women, you're going to see Esau turning up against y'all to a certain extent, and he's doing it by way of this Roe versus Wade. So it's going to be harder for you women to have abortions and, and shit. And not only that, the scriptures very soon, remember, like, they mentioned about, like, the famines that's finna hit, like, with all these food shortages, you very soon gonna be eating your children like what they did in the ancient world. It happened during the time of 70 AD, with these famines, and cannibalism happened around that time, and it also happened mostly in, the famine in Samaria, where there was hyperinflation and people was eating all type of weird shit. So, this is pretty much a warning to you women that want to go to parties, that want to spread open your legs and allowing every other man to go inside you and shaking your funky ass in the crowd, in the club and shit like that. Better rise up from your rest. And the scripture says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Trouble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, be ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Exactly. Things are not going to go the way you want it to. And the Most High is causing this devil Esau to divorce you, showing you that very soon you're going to have to go back into your lot and doing what you're supposed to be doing as a woman, you shouldn't even be thinking about taking no abortion pills or taking any doing actual abortion at all, because that's literally you killing your children. That's a you know that's a Moloch sacrifice. That's a modern day one. In fact, it may not be literally passing your children to the fire, of course not, but it's sort of a practice of it. And that's how the Most High still looks at it, because first of all, scriptures tell you to multiply and replenish the earth. That's what the Lord said. We all know Esau is a devil, so of course Esau is against population increase, because Esau claims that we're overpopulated, which is a damn lie, because he wants to depopulate us. So that's why he makes it hard when you have children and shit like that. But for the most part, it's like, if you feel like you can't have a good child if you feel like you can't have a child with a good man or so, the problem with a lot of these women is that they have a bad decision making on what type of men they choose in their life. You get with a piece of shit man, and then eventually you end up needing a beta male to provide for your kids. And you see a lot of these men are waking up to the point where they're not fucking supporting you, woman, with that shit no more. So, you have it to where like these men are starting to basically, avoid you, woman, especially you so-called black women, because y'all are the prime example of the woman not to be. I'll bring out a little bit more scriptures as well. In Lamentations 4:3 says, even the sea monsters draw out the breast, they give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my peoples become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness. And that right there shows you that, even the most terrible sea monsters of all time, they're even more caring to their young ones. Even all these other animals in the animal kingdom, that just so happen to be, vicious, they have somewhat sort of a care to their young ones than you Israelite woman. Or for the most part, just a lot of you Babylonian women in general, because there's just a lot of women in America that's just so anti-life, and they're against this idea of having children and raising children because, they want to do whatever the fuck they please. They want to be sluts and harlots. They want to be, they want to be free. They don't want to have it to where they're raising a child. They don't want to have that type of life, And that's why Esau has it to where this whole system is set up to have the woman to go from, from school, from young, indoctrinating her with BS, having her to go to high school, and then go to college, and then, this is what this devil Esau does, giving these women over much liberty. And then by the time they go to high school or they go to college or whatever, they want to become like a feminist, you know? And Esau pretty much has beguiled the serpent with all his false philosophies, you know? And that's pretty much the reason why Ecclesiastes 25 mentions, I'm going to bring that out. In Ecclesiastes 25 verse 24 states, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. And we all wonder why. You don't give a woman over much liberty, you know? Because she's going to abuse herself with that. And pretty much like when you see how wicked these women are, man, it's like, damn, shit, just killing innocent life. Pretty much like, well, Slakia, everything that happens on this earth, you know, is obviously for a reason. And, you know, no one's innocent, like Job 4 chapter verse 7, but just killing, like, you know, just life in general, that shows how wicked these women are. Like, they actually commit the most killings. You know, that's why in verse 19 says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So not only that, you have women that, you know, have it to where these niggas that's in the streets and things of that nature, these niggas that, you know, fight over them, that be lusting after them, not only that they do wickedness to please them, it's the fact that women do wickedness on their own too, especially by way of aborting their child, you know, just so that they could be a whore, you know. I tell you that verse 17, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. You know, that's why over time, why you think these women, they can't maintain their beauty for a while. That's why they hit the wall quick. Because when you're wicked, eventually you have a quicker downfall, you know. That's why a lot of the times in them pictures, they look like, when they get arrested, they look like brute beasts. They look disgusting in their mugshots for the most part. And seeing them just protesting and standing outside and protesting and shit, they just look foolish. And like the scriptures say about our women, how they are ostriches in the wilderness. That also explains why most of them, especially from the southern kingdom, can't really grow their hair out like like an ostrich, why their head look that bald. Scripture saying in Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 10, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. This is the reason why a woman needs a man in her life to rule over her, because these women are simple, you know. And scriptures say that about like a simple woman, that she's clamorous and she knoweth nothing. Because you best believe if majority of these women knew how wicked abortion is, and if they seen the videos on what the child has to go through the abortion and things of that nature, they wouldn't be supporting it like that if they actually knew and had understanding of this truth as well. And it's most of our women that's doing it, and I'll soon, you know, bring out like evidence in another video about the real, you know, statistics of abortion and, you know, the horrors behind it too, because it's really disturbing to see such precious life being destroyed at the hands of a woman, and most of all the so-called black woman, or in other words, a nigger woman, as the brother's saying the truth. And they said, you know, watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against thee. You know, because these women are harlots and they're whores. So, it's like you almost can't be surprised in these times, like, with how these women are. And it tells you this in verse 12. This is how they are. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he have opened, when he have found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. So that's really pretty much self-explanatory. So if you look at a quiver will be a case, and an arrow obviously will represent like the rod. Wasn't too specific on the wording, but you get the idea. That's the point. Like the metaphor is basically on what the quiver symbolizes and what the arrow symbolizes. And that's how these women are. They pretty much live that whorish lifestyle that Babylon the Great, in other words, America, has pushed out through their music, through the films that you watch, whether it be cartoons or movies or TV shows, things of that nature. They push out that wicked vibration, of whoredom. And it's showing you that these women, they just want to just feel free to keep being a whore. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They can't do their most simple tasks that the Most High has given them. And they don't want to settle down. And so much for being like whores, even if they just so happen to settle down, they're only going to do it maybe for a few years and think about divorcing so they can try to get back, their old ways of living. I'll bring out another precept in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. It says, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. And this is a lot that you're going to have to do in Jacob's trouble, by the way. Yeah, you're going to have to basically raise the children and take care of the household. And this is talking about you women that want to be saved by a man of the Lord in Jacob's trouble. Because the only man that's going to be the last standing. So this is coming to you women very soon. And that's if the man takes you. That's if the man of the Lord takes you. So, and which is also going to go on par with Isaiah 4:1, that, that 7 woman shall take hold of one man. So, you're going to be working hard in that day to prove your sincerity and to prove your loyalty and things of that nature. So, this is one of the ways you women are rising up, by abortions being illegal in certain states. And honestly, I feel like if it goes into New York or, one of those big major cities where a lot of people just are used to that city life, because I know for the most part, women in the cities will be more affected than women that live out in the like out in the South or out in the countries or so, for a fact. Because I know most of the time women in the cities, people that are mostly in the cities, they're not used to doing things like growing their own food. They're not used to basically they're not used to the lifestyle of knowing how to cook and doing things for themselves a lot of the times. People in the city are really used to a lifestyle where they have everything, catered to them, And it should pretty much be in your best interest as a woman to pretty much like raise the children and be a housekeeper. You had women in the Bible, you know, like Samuel's mother, and then you even had, I think Sarah, like women in the Bible, like they really appreciated having children, you know. They will go crazy to have children. But you women now, y'all ain't shit. Like Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 26. So like yeah, when it says like, you know, the Lord, uh, well, Solomon at the time said, and I find more bitter than death, the woman, you know, and it just said like the woman in general, going into just, you know, it could be any woman to be honest, but for the most part, this mostly is a this is mostly talking about any woman, but you know, which is like the wicked woman to be honest. But it's like when it's coming to you, to your Israelite woman, majority of y'all are wicked as hell. So it says, who towards his snares his nets and her hands his bands, whoso pleases Yahweh shall escape her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. And most of the men that be popping you is mostly, you know, these wicked ass men, because women are just mostly attracted to wicked ass men in general. And a lot of the times when y'all have kids, and then you expecting another man to take care of your kids and shit like that, you know, that shit is turning against you. So, and the scripture says in verse 28, and this is the one I really want to bring out, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not one, but I find not one man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Exactly. Showing how wicked you women were, and how wicked you women are. So women back in ancient times, they had order, and Solomon even said they were wicked, and how much you women are now, since y'all in rulership with Esau. The scriptures already said about Esau turning things upside down. That's like one of the curses like that was mentioned in Isaiah 29th chapter. But it's going to be esteemed as potter's clay, and it's eventually the Most High is going to turn things back to the way it was. And he's doing it gradually, you know. As Esau is gradually doing certain things that's causing oppression of the people, you know, because Esau is considered as that red horse in Revelation 6th chapter that's taking peace away from the earth. He's going to do that to you women as well, because you women are at ease, and he's going to take away your peace and make, you know, pretty much he's going to make it harder for you women very soon, because you women have been so catered to. You had all these men serving y'all. You got pretty much like a whole simp service for y'all women. Y'all got like a whole like side nigga lineup of white knights ready to come at your aid. You got a man to pay for this, a man to pay for that, and a man to take you out for rides, a man to take you out to eat, a man to do all type of shit for you, and then you got the main nigga. That shit is done. That shit is soon gonna be done away with. That whole lifestyle where the system has been catering to you women with benefits and things of that nature, that shit gonna go away too. You woman just gonna be left with nothing. So that's what I wanted to point out there. And one more thing I want to say is that Esau has used you to oppress the nation of our people. You know, use you women to oppress the nation, the men of our nation. That's what Esau has done. And guess what? Esau is going to put you through the oppression, because he's going to show you that you are no different than the Israelite man, you know, because this devil just used you to destroy the nation of our people. Yeah, to break up the family unit with this whole feminism shit. But with that, I hope I made the lesson edifying. Let's give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashem, Shamalak, Yahweh, Bashem, Kakadash, Taba, honest apostles, and elders, great millstone, peace, citation, hope for life. Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Shalak, Yam, Arawam, Yam, Waka, Yam, Baba, Shalom.